Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We are here at Jacobs Mitsubishi in Port Richey, Florida, and guess what? I have that one long-standing SUV from an iconic Japanese brand. Is this vehicle right here. This is a 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander. This particular one is a special edition known as the Trail Edition. But before we get into this Outlander that has a little bit more off-road credibility, let's talk about what's going on here. So Mitsubishi, a lot of people have written them off. Well, guess what? In other parts of the world, Mitsubishi is still thriving, and they're still trying to make some type of comeback here in the United States. The Outlander, believe it or not, has been around for almost 20 years. 2006 is when it first came out, and there's been many different iterations of it. This one, though, being a Trail Edition, fits it nicely with what other manufacturers, big manufacturers like Honda with the CR-V Trail Sport, Nissan with the Rogue Rock Creek Edition, and even when you look at Mazda with their CX-50 Meridian Edition. Now, when it comes to versatility, but having some really special, unique touches, is this Trail Edition the one to get over the competition? Let's go ahead, let's dive into ours and see if we can find out. Right off the bat, I love the color. It's called Moonstone, and get your moon boots on because you are ready for a lunar landing. This thing has a very interesting style to it. Now, the front of the business, you'll notice our LED turn signals, totally separate from our LED lower pod of headlights. I think it fits well on the Outlander, and I like the way that they, instead of just doing a solid light bar, they really added some very stylish flavor to that upper lighting housing. Now, as we work our way down, like I said, large LED headlight area, and then we have our LED fog lamps. Now, unique to the Trail Edition, believe it or not, is this whole front fascia. You have the extension in flat black on the corner, and then you'll also notice how that flared fender kind of comes out, just peeks out a little bit around the fender openings. Now, as we kind of come across the front grille, on the Trail Edition, you're going to get a lot of blacked out accents. So normally on an Outlander, a lot of times these boomerang shapes on the corners, they're in chrome. This is gloss black. And then you have that traditional front fascia. This is not grille. This is part of the front fascia. Horizontal chrome bars with the Mitsubishi badge, but everything else is blacked out. Nice to see on an off-road edition. You have a forward-facing camera, fully functional in the center here with that honeycomb grille pattern. And then you got more Moonstone. I love Moonstone gray. Whether you're wearing your moon boots or your UGG boots, it looks good. And then on the lower portion, this whole lower portion is unique to the Trail Edition. So you have, of course, your active shutters that are going to open and close, bring more or less cool air in. And then you have your flat black. And what a lot of people are calling in the industry now, a lot of brands, a skid plate garnish. So it's like ordering your steak, that, you know, New York strip, and then they put some of that green parsley on the side as a garnish. This is your skid plate garnish. No actual metal skid plate underneath. And I think the bigger zonk is, for this Trail Edition, there's no actual extra lift to it, no extra height, no extra ground clearance. But guess what? If you compare that to the CR-V Trail Sport and the Meridian Edition of the CX-50 and the Rogue Rock Creek Edition, most of those don't have any extra ground clearance either. So I guess it's what the competition's doing. Now, as we rise up, I love the hood, especially in that Moonstone gray. You have your anti-glare strips, part of the Trail Edition package, and the Mitsubishi Motors badge looking good. So much history with Mitsubishi. And yes, I miss those days of the Lancer Evolution, the Evos, but this is what we got for right now. So we're gonna keep working with it. Now, as we come around the bend, great news is you're gonna get Trail Edition specific wheels, 18-inch wheel, gloss black. I love the rugged design. Ours has all season tires, but you can option the real deal off-road spec tire with sidewall protection. That would be a box that I would definitely check off if I was gonna go this route. Tires are gonna be 235 on the width, and you have a nice size sidewall. This is a 60 series sidewall. You'll notice unique to the Trail Edition is more of that fender protection because they expect people to go off-roading with this. Now, as we rise up, you get some other unique touches. Nice little badging on the hood, says Outlander in flat black. You even have the addition of protection for the front passenger and driver door. Now from the side, you can see the overall dimensions. This falls right in alignment with the competition. It's a compact crossover SUV. Love the two-tone paint job with our Moonstone gray. So you have your gloss black painted roof with your A-pillar, and then you'll notice our full cargo platform. This comes with the Trail Edition. This piece alone, if you go and buy it in some off-roading overlanding catalog, can be quite pricey. Nice to see it on this particular vehicle. Another thing that's great is not only do you get gloss black on the mirror caps, but you have 360-degree cameras. I think that's the best. It's not the gloss black as much as the 360-degree cameras. Really interesting what they're doing to add some extra pizzazz. So you're gonna have this belt line stripe that comes down most of the vehicle, and then it flares out into an Outlander mountain range. So kind of cool graphic, nothing too gaudy. I love the way that the black does not come down into the rear pillar. You actually keep that Moonstone gray. Good size on the quarter glass and dark chrome finish. So you got to give them some props. I know a lot of times we want to say, ooh, Mitsubishi, gross. Give them some props where they deserve it, right? This does have all-wheel drive, and you'll notice that you have more of that nice protection along the bottom doors. Nothing as atrocious as, say, a Forester Wilderness Edition. Forester Wilderness Edition wins the prize for the most cladding. Hands down. Now, another thing that I think is just cool is you're actually going to get 4 mud flaps, and on the rear ones, it actually says Outlander. I don't know why, but that just reminds me of the old Monteros, the Mitsubishi Monteros from the 90s. It just has that cool look. On the back, you do have an extension here in your lower bumper area for this Trail Edition. And then from the rear of the vehicle, it's actually not too shabby. You got a nice long roof spoiler. My only thing I would want to see is I would zonk this and put the wiper underneath, but as you'll notice, we have our super all-wheel drive control from Mitsubishi. You get a very tasteful Trail Edition badge. And then from the back, like I said, overall, not too shabby. Working our way down to ground level, you do have your lower bumper area in that flat black. That will take a better beating. And then everything else looks great in Moonstone with LED lighting, no old-fashioned light bulbs. Go look at a CRV Trail Sport. I double, triple dog dare you. It's got turn single light bulbs. So this LED. Why don't we go ahead though, let's pop the hood and see what's powering this Outlander Trail Edition. All right guys, we got the hood popped. You do have a prop rod. I am gonna zonk that. This should just do hood struts. Now underneath the hood, no, it's not the 3-cylinder turbocharged engine from the Rock Creek edition of the Rogue. This has a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated inline 4. The cool thing is 181 horsepower, 181 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to a CVT. Yes, let me know in the comment sections how frustrated you are. 0 to 60, it matches up with the competition, around 8.5 seconds, top speed 120 miles an hour. The vehicle weighs 3,946 pounds. MPGs 24 in the city, 30 on the highway, and you could tow up to 2,000 pounds with this Outlander Trail Edition. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire it up and see it in motion. All right, guys, we're inside this Moonstone Gray 2025 Outlander Trail Edition from Mitsubishi. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I actually was looking at your CRV. I was actually looking at your Rogue Rock Creek Edition. How much is it? That's a very good question. They actually have priced it very, very competitively. You're looking at an MSRP of $44,000, and that's complete with all the goodies. But let's see what you get when you go Mitsubishi to the door panels. Love the soft touch material. Soft touch up top, waterfalls into some contrast stitching. You do have gloss black around the door handle, but you're not going to be touching it, and that's the best part. So no fingerprints. You do have some faux carbon fiber. I could do without that, so I'm going to give it a zonk. But the great news is still no fingerprints. Soft touch on the armrest, more contrast stitching. You do have a decent sized door pocket where you could go to Chick-fil-A, get your 2 grilled chicken sandwiches, some waffle fries, and some pineapple slaw. And then guess what? We actually have Yamaha sound system speakers. So we're not talking about Yamaha motorcycles, we're talking about the acoustic side, the audio side of Yamaha. Now going from the door panel to the dash, love the soft touch. Really nicely done. Some silver, just a little bit of gloss black. Slide on in, you're getting that all new 12.3-inch infotainment system screen. Very easy to use. You got all the great apps and everything. 1, 2, 3. Look how quick it acts. I'm very, very impressed with how intuitive this new system is. A real volume knob. I'm going to throw it into reverse. Backup camera. It could be a little bit more clear, but you do have trajectory and the 360, which is great. Let me shut that off. And then, of course, we do have our forward-facing camera, also with trajectory. Very important when you're going off-roading. Just to let you know, CRV Trail Sport does not have a forward-facing camera. Just throwing that out there. So, giving you the facts. Start-stop button, easy to get to. Down below, you got dual climate control. Nice switch gear. Heated seats, 3 stages. No ventilated seats at this price point. You do have wireless charging, 2 USB-Cs, and a 12-ohm. What's interesting is that you got this little rubber here. So you always want to have your rubbers on you, and you have your Outlander name, and that actually protects your wireless charging. Because that's what a rubber's all about, right? The rubber mat protects your wireless charging. This guy right here is an electric shifter for your CVT. It does act as an 8-speed automatic with simulated shifts. Love the silver. You got your different drive modes, hill descent control, 2 cup holders, and then here's your Mitsubishi key fob. Not bad, I've seen worse. I've seen better too. Soft, more of that great stitching. Lift it up, you got a USB-C in there, and you have enough room to where you could easily put, I would say, 4 more boxes of Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets. Especially, what I would do is if you ever want Chick-fil-A on a Sunday, just buy extra on Saturday and leave them in your car. And then that way, you get your Polynesian sauce out, you get your barbecue sauce out, and then you just dip away. Never mind that they might smell a little funky, but listen, you just dip it and drop it in. Seats, I'm actually in love with them. The soft touch, the stitching, the Alcantara, look how good they look. Nice bolstering, manual adjustments for the passenger. I have electric assist over here, and then guess what? We have a freaking power shade, a panoramic sunroof. Nice touch for the price point. But why don't you come over here? I want to show you behind the wheel of this Mitsubishi. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have your seat controls, easy to get to. And of course, for 5 additional horsepower, we have our Trail Edition all-weather floor mats. I'm 6 feet tall. Plenty of room in here, even with the sunroof. Steering wheel, love the thickness of the wheel and the 2 different types of leather. Nice clean on the horn button, flat black on the switchgear. You do have paddles, like I said, to go through simulated 8 speeds, manual tilting and telescoping wheel, and then you have your dash. I'm okay with it. I like old school gauges. You have an analog tach, analog speedometer, and then of course you can scroll through a cornucopia of information, including that all-wheel drive gauge that I'm gonna leave out. But like I said, I'm fine. Everybody's got 12-inch screens. It's kind of refreshing to have something a little different. But let's get into the mid-row, and God help me, the 3rd row of this Outlander Trail Edition, and see if your passengers are going to be happy where they're sitting. All right, guys, mid-row time. Yes, this is a 3-row crossover SUV. I'm not looking forward to getting to the 3rd row, but the mid-row passengers are going to be cool as can be. Nice and comfy seats. Lots of room, not close to the headline. The seats look fantastic. You got more pockets than a pair of Levi jeans, man. Look at this. Pockets up top. You can put some bags of peanut M&Ms, maybe some York peppermint patties in this pocket, and then down here you can put your family-sized bags of Twizzlers. Command center, you do have AC vents, 2 USB-Cs, and a place for 4 Twinkies. You just gotta shove them a little. It's okay sometimes to shove your Twinkie in a tight spot, you know, to make sure you have as many Twinkies as possible. But like I said, seats are comfy. They do recline. The problem is you gotta lift over your shoulder. So you gotta go like this. So here I am, and then you wanna recline. That's recline. The other amazing thing is that they actually slide as well. We've been in some mid-size SUVs that don't even do that. And then do we have a center armrest? Yes. Folds down captain's chair style. Allows you to sit 3 across. I mean, think about it. You can, I won't say adults, but you can get 7 people in this freaking thing. But I'm gonna see exactly how it's gonna work in that back seat area. So we got the mid row done. Let's get to the 3rd row in this Outlander. All right, guys. Now I know what a sardine feels like in a can of sardines, because Lori literally had to get a pole to just squish me back here. I feel like I am a giant in a Hobbit house, or I feel like Will Ferrell in the Elf movie when he was up north with all the elves. Very tight, but I guess in a sticky situation, if you need to get 2 more people back here, you can. It's just gonna take a lot of work. I'm not even getting on that side. It's just so tight back here. You got cup holders, which are nice, but there's no AC vents, so prepare to sweat like a stuffed pig. That's what I feel like right now. I feel like a pig in a blanket. But let's go check out the cargo area and see this thing drive. All right, guys, cargo area time. We're gonna hit the button. Nice electric assist. I left that tight 3rd row up because we're gonna talk about all of the cargo space. So on this vehicle, you're looking at 11 cubic feet of space with the seats up. We're gonna fold the seats down. That's gonna give us 31 cubic feet of space. And basically what you do is you just pull up on the tether. You gotta remove the headrests. I just kept them removed. And you're just gonna do that. Pull up and push down. That's that area where I was sitting. Not much room, not much excitement going on. Now, these handles are to fold down the mid row. That's gonna give you that 64 cubic feet of space. You do have a 12 volt conveniently placed for when you're at the beach. And I like the way they have these nooks. You could put a 6-pack of Yoo-Hoo on one side and a nice box of ding-dongs. Because I know a lot of people like to not only play, but also eat their ding-dongs, which is great. Underneath the cargo floor, lift that up. There's our headrests. And you do get a spare. It's underneath the foam. You gotta take the foam out. But nicely stored. And then to pull them up, that's all you do. Nice manual controls, easy peasy. Like I said, it's only, that 3rd row is only for an emergency, for somebody to sit back there. But why don't we go ahead? We're not sitting in the 3rd row, and neither are you. You're sitting next to me, shotgun, in this Outlander Trail Edition, and we're gonna go for a little spin. All right, guys, we are behind the wheel of this 2025 Trail Edition of the Outlander. And right away, once you have everything set up, it's really, really comfy in here. Super smooth. Seats are fantastic. You have your different drive modes, everything from eco to sport to normal. And what's great is that it has the graphics. Let me lower the steering wheel a little bit. It has the graphics on the wheel to kind of showcase what mode you're in. So really nice the way they have the gauges and the graphics. And you'll notice with the tachometer, when you go into sport mode, it really does change where the RPMs are. So I'm gonna go, right now I'm in normal, I'm gonna go into sport, tarmac they call it, which is sport. And now it's at 3,000 RPM. That's gonna give you a little bit quicker acceleration as you're driving down the road and going on throttle. But we have our all-wheel drive super handling, all-wheel drive control gauge in the center. I could change that to different information, like tire pressure. But the fact that the Outlander is comfortable. It's really, really comfortable on the interior. Really like that about this vehicle. Getting to that 12.3-inch infotainment system is well within reach. And then, like I said, you do have the paddles to go through those simulated 8 speeds. Visibility out the front is great. Nice high hood with those anti-glare strips. And you're going to get all the safety features as well. The blind spot monitoring and lane keep assist and all those goodies. Having that wireless charging, the dual climate control, and the Moonstone gray really just makes this thing look extra cool on the exterior. But very impressed with what they've done with this trim. Like I said, the one thing I would like to add are the optional off-road tires. But the fact that you have the Yamaha premium sound system and the panoramic sunroof, plus that cargo platform, are nice extras that usually people want to add. So before the light turns green, like I said, you got your eco, your normal, tarmac, gravel, snow, and even mud. So we're going to leave it on tarmac, which is sport, and we're going to go on throttle from a dead stop once that light turns green. Gauges are easy to read. The analog tach, the analog speedometer are fantastic to have because they're just easy to read at a quick glance, which is wonderful. But if you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle, here we go. Simulated shifts. So nice to have the simulated shifts because that's going to keep the loud drone to a minimum when it comes to the engine with the CVT. And going down the road with the all seasons is very comfortable. There is a bit of wind noise, but you got to remember you have that cargo platform up there, and that's going to add quite a bit of wind noise. But with the all-season tires, you're not getting a lot of extra road noise. But if you do option the actual off-road spec tires, you will be getting a little bit more of that road noise from the off-road spec tires. But very, very smooth, very comfortable. And I think that's my favorite part. The seats are just fantastic in this vehicle. And your mid-row passengers, they're going to get everything that they need. But it's crazy to think that they were able to stuff another row in this vehicle. It just blows my mind even when I think about it. And trust me, I don't want to go back to sitting back there because it is very, very uncomfortable. But you'll notice the suspension, it's soft for that off-roading, but it's not mushy. And I really like that about this this trail edition of the Outlander. Good overall dimensions. Great visual reference point above the hood. It's interesting. It's interesting, and it's gonna be interesting to see where does Mitsubishi go as a brand here in the United States. Like I said, there's other parts of the world where Mitsubishi is thriving. It's just here in the United States, not so much. But this Outlander Trail Edition is gonna bring some surprises to you. That's for sure. And the price point, like I said, very competitive with what the competition is bringing. But I hope that this has been a good, quick overall review of this Trail Edition version of the Outlander. We're going to get back to Jacobs Mitsubishi and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, wasn't a bad day today. Not too shabby. Definitely got to thank Kevin and the rest of the crew over at Jacobs Mitsubishi getting us access to this first ever 2025 Trail Edition of the Outlander. Now it's your turn. Let me know what you think. Is this the one to get over the competition? Let me know your thoughts in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit the subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rides family. We got to get it up to Latte Lori with this humid air. She's been having to work with some foggy situations, especially with her glasses, but she makes it happen. And that's why we love her so much. So thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, I'll see you on the next ride.